flame burner. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pain, all faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks.
In other words, they're going to invade the city of Zion, then, aren't they? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 8, neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
Right, you lose 40,000 men, they're not going to even pay no attention. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 9, they shall run to and fro in the city, they shall run upon the wall, they shall climb up upon the houses, they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shine. And Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide?
So they invaded Zion, and the Lord ordered his voice before his army, right? Okay, let's go to Zechariah 12 and read verse 1 through verse 14. Gotta go.
Verse 1.
Gotta go right now.
The burden of the word of Yahweh for Israel, says Yahweh, which stretches forth the heavens, and layeth the foundation of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Yehudah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. In that day, says Yahweh, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. And I will open mine eyes upon the house of Yehudah, and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. And the governors of Yehudah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength in Yahweh of hosts, their Elohim. In that day will I make the governors of Yehudah like a hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf, and they shall devour all the people round about, on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. Yahweh also shall save the tents of Yehudah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Yehudah. In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as Elohim, as the angel of Yahweh before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplication. And they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him, as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. In that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadad Rimmon in the valley of Megiddo. And the land shall mourn every family apart. The family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart. the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, the family of Shimei apart, and their wives apart, all the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives.
Okay, so the beast came up and invaded Jerusalem, right? And Judah had to go to war, right? Okay, and Judah was strengthened once these things took place. Now let's go to Revelation 19. Once they invaded that city, let's go to Revelation 19 and verse 11 through verse 19. And let's see what takes place then.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
Now, you know what the people are going to think. Now, heaven already opened one time when Lucifer got thrown out, and everybody swore that the Messiah had returned to the land. They got a man over there talking about he's the Messiah, and another man over there talking about he's God. Now, all of a sudden, heaven opens up again, right? Yeah. Big surprise. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Elohim. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Elohim. And he had on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Adonai of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great Elohim, that you may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army.
Okay, once heaven opened and the Messiah starts to descend, let's go and see what's going to precede him. Psalms chapter 50 and verse 1 through verse 6. Psalms chapter 50 and verse 1 through verse 6.
Verse 1. The mighty Elohim, even Yahweh, have spoken and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Yehudah, the perfection of Elohim have shined. The perfection of beauty, Elohim have shined. Verse 3. Our Elohim shall come and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
What's your sacrifice? What covenant have you made with Yahweh that's a sacrifice? The sacrifice of Yahweh is a contrite of the spirit. That's all they're going to take. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 6. And the heaven shall declare his righteousness, for Yah is judge himself.
So once heaven opened, it was a fire that came out that went before him and devoured everything that was before him, right? Zechariah 14 and verse 1 through verse 7. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 1 through verse 7.
Verse 1. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Adonai go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle.
Then shall the Adonai go forth and fight against those people as he fought in the day of battle, right? So when the Messiah tried to return, like Paul said, the dead shall rise first and meet him in the air, right? Then we that are alive and remain shall be caught up together to meet him in the air, and we shall forever be with him. Not in the air now. But go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 4. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west, and there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south.
Now the Christians say that's when you're going off to heaven. Well, according to what I read, the Messiah is coming to the Mount of Olives. His feet is going to stand on the Mount of Olives, the same place he left from, right? Ain't nobody went to heaven yet, not even the Billy Goat. See? But when you listen to them Christians, they're already in heaven. Yeah, brother.
Brother, this is after tribulation.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Nobody went to heaven. If you go back in the earlier chapters of John the Revelator, the only thing he saw in heaven, people that he saw in heaven, was the 24 elders, and then the Lamb showed up, wasn't it? I don't know where these people get this lie from, that everybody die and go to heaven. Every time somebody die, well, they're in heaven now, they're in a better place, they're up with the Lord. They're with Jesus. Right. Right.
That was down in Rome in Greece.
Yeah, that's where it needs to be, brother. Go ahead and read, Steve.
Verse 5. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. Yea, ye shall flee like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Yehudah. And Yahweh my Elohim shall come, and all the saints with you. And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark. But it shall be one day which shall be known to Yahweh, nor day nor night. But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light.
Okay, my brother. Now, once Yehudah invade and take Zion, the beast will march on Zion. Then heavens opens, the master will ascend, the dead and the saints meet Yahshua in the air. The master returns to the Mount of Olives. And once he's set on the Mount of Olives, the Mount of Olives is going to bust in half, and part of that mountain is going to move 20 miles away and create a very great valley. And that's where he's going to do a lot of that slaughter, and the rest of the people, he's going to drive them back to the valley of Megiddo. And that's where they're going to be destroyed. But let's pick that up. Ezekiel chapter 39 in verse 1 through verse 29. Ezekiel chapter 39 in verse 1 through verse 29. If you got your notes from the last time I did this class, I added about 8 more pieces of scripture to what was done last week. It's so much you just have to keep doing and adding a little bit each time. Ezekiel chapter 39 in verse 1 through verse 29.
Verse 1. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, thus says the Adonai Elohim, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Moscow and Tubal. And I will turn thee back, and leave but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand. Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, you and all your bands, and the people that is with you. I will give you unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured.